Well, hello to everyone. Good evening. I hope you have had a fantastic Tuesday. My name is Sadie Blue, and I am the community consultant for the Building Stronger Neighborhoods program. Tonight, we are excited because tonight launches our Neighborhood Nuggets, which will be a series of little 30-minute segments that we'll do about every 2 weeks to hopefully keep you informed and engaged in things that are going on that will engage your community. And I am super excited. I do apologize if we started a little late. It's our first time and we are getting the kinks worked out. But thank you so much, seriously, for joining us on tonight. I am super excited on tonight to have with us Ms. Jenny Caviness, who is a dear friend of mine. She is the Director of Community Engagement for the Greensboro Police Department, and she is the one that hopefully can answer all of our National Night Out questions. And that is our series tonight, is to talk about National Night Out. I know that many of you are probably having many questions about what are we going to do in lieu of the pandemic? What are we going to do with COVID going on and social distancing and wearing masks and all that good stuff? And so, in lieu of that, we have Jenny on tonight who hopefully is going to answer our questions. So, thank you again for joining us on tonight. Jenny, will you just give us a quick hello and we'll get started?
Yes, thank you for having me, Miss Sadie. I am so excited to be here. I am excited to be part of your neighborhood nuggets, and I cannot wait to talk about National Night Out and how are we going to do this in the middle of everything going on.
So thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us. I am ready to get started. So tonight, Jenny, my first question to you is what is National Night Out and what is the purpose of National Night Out?
Well, Sadie, that's a great question. Every neighborhood across America celebrates, hopefully, National Night Out. And really, the goal is to build a great relationship with public safety, but really to build a better and stronger community. The stronger your communities are, the better off we are, the better we can fight crime, the better off we can support each other, and the less you may actually need some of your service providers and public safety in the end. So, National Night Out really opens the door to building those stronger communities.
So I'm excited. I know that many of you all who are probably on here tonight have celebrated National Night Out previously. Maybe you have not, but I know many neighborhoods have actually done that. And we have many seemingly that are excited about figuring out how we're going to do that this year. So, Jenny, if you will just share with us some of the history, Greensboro's history about the participation of National Night Out, because I know there's a rich history of us having many communities, large and small, that have had grand turnouts for National Night Out.
Yes, ma'am. We traditionally have around 140 to 150 different communities celebrating. And this has been this way for well over, I want to say 20 years. We have about 20 years worth of plaques and awards that we've won as a community of our side, getting as many people engaged and involved to celebrate. And I think there's some stereotypes that exist around National Night Out. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be in your front yard with ice cream waving at your neighbors. It can be as big, huge community block parties. We've got some neighborhoods that attract, over 1,000 folks. They've shut down streets. They've got food trucks. And we've got just as many great neighborhoods that have small get-togethers in the cul-de-sac. And they're all wonderful. And they all are doing exactly what they need to do.
I love it. I have been currently in this position for a few years, and I have been all over the city seeing neighborhoods take advantage of their neighborhood parks and bringing people together. I've had face paint put on my face. I've seen people singing and dancing, and I've been in a bounce house before, jumping around with children. I think those days for me are over. I'll let the younger people do that now. Um, but I have done that, taken pictures of our, can I say, our seasoned people so that I don't insult anyone, seasoned people, our younger people. And it's always just so fantastic to see people out and about and being able to greet one another. I know sometimes we're so in our houses and we're so wrapped up in what we're doing. Our lives are busy. There's home, there's school, there's work, there's walking the dog, there's taking care of the cat, the kids. I get it, I get it. So it's great when we can all just kind of come out and celebrate and get to know each other and become friendly with our public officials. I run into city council people, police department, fire department, ambulance. Everyone is out having a fantastic time. But Jenny, that brings me to another question. Because what could we possibly do now? I mean, I'm used to going to get a hot dog and a hamburger and a fish sandwich and a cold drink. I'm used to all of that, riding around, getting hugs from people, just being friendly. And now we have COVID-19 that has really put a hiccup in it. But my hopes is that tonight you can share with us some possibilities of things to do, because the one thing we want to make sure we do is keep communities engaged, even in this thing of social distancing. So can you talk a little bit about what the possibilities of National Night Out could look like with us still having to deal with COVID-19?
I can. And actually, you brought up a really good point. It is heartbreaking to not do this event. This is kind of the crux of what community engagement builds from with the Greensboro Police Department. When I spoke to the Chief James today, he looked at me and said, today would have been National Night Out. I said, I know, Chief. He goes, I'm missing all the good stuff. I said, I know, Chief. We'll make it up next year. But to your point, what do we do? I mean, we all go get hot dogs and ice cream and food. I mean, anything and everything. There's so many different places that we all go. Fish. Oh, the fish. And so how do we do it this year? And that's a great question. I do think that we have to be very realistic. I'm an optimist. I was hoping for an August date. It took me a really long time to admit to myself, it's not going to happen. So again, we've moved the date to October and October 6th. But again, I think we have to be realistic that with COVID, we don't know what that's going to look like. We may not be able to have events. We just don't know yet, but I'm going to keep with my optimistic approach that we can. But I think, again, we have our really optimistic view of how can we all at least come together. Ms. Sadie, you and I have done some great idea exchanging, and I really appreciate your perspective. This year it may have to be, if we can't all celebrate together, maybe we all go to our front yard at a particular time and wave, and we all post our pictures to social media, hashtag your neighborhood, have a nice little neighborhood competition of which neighborhood posts the most pictures, ribbons on mailboxes, anything that's red, white, and blue, just supporting building a better, stronger community, supporting positive relationships with your, public safety departments, fire, police, Guilford Metro 911. If we can celebrate in person, I would still say social distancing and, maybe not a potluck this year. Everybody bring your own food, sit on your own little mat, 6 feet apart from everybody else. But really what I hope that we get to do, and even if, maybe we all walk neighborhood streets, is get to know your neighbors. Not just know who they are, know their faces. You and I talked a lot about, when you walk your neighborhood, you get to know your neighbors, who you see all the time. And it's great to actually know who lives in your neighborhood. And it's just a really, really secure, safe feeling.
So Jenny, I'm super excited about the challenge, but yet the opportunity of figuring out how to do it different. And I must say, when we first started wrapping our head around this, I had this mentality of either it's in person or we just not gonna have it, right? Because the challenge was, how do we do this? But I also came to realize that the challenge is really an opportunity to think about doing it differently. And I hope people, get that message. Yes, it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity to think about how do we do it differently. And I must say, to really mimic what Jenny has said, we have to play this thing according to COVID-19 and where we are in the phases and what is safe. We are definitely not encouraging people to have potluck dinners and all that type of stuff where things are being touched by many people. That is not something that we are encouraging, but we are encouraging you to get to know your neighbor, get to know your neighborhood. And I think we're going to continue to work together, Jenny and I, and a few more people to think about what makes sense. Now, I have a few other cool ideas, and I don't know what's going to happen. I've even thought about, is there a possibility of having a virtual dance party, right? And so everybody gets out in their yard and we do the limbo, or we do the electric slide, we do some type of line dance. Everybody is out at the same time, blasting it, and you're taking pictures and having fun and getting your giggle on. And so I think it is a wonderful opportunity, and I want to encourage people, if you have ideas about how we can celebrate National Night Out safely in lieu of COVID-19, please feel free to drop comments. I will be going back, reading them. I will be sharing with Jenny the comments that you give, because listen, this is just not our National Night Out. It's yours too. You are a resident of Greensboro, or you're thinking about it. If you're not in Greensboro, you're thinking about it for wherever you live. And we want to be able to share those ideas and really brainstorm and come up with some really cool stuff. I also want to encourage you while we're talking. Listen, if you have questions, go ahead and start dropping those questions now, putting them in the comment section. We want to try to answer those questions. And as we move forward, we'll look at those questions and try to address as many of them as we can and not tie up your time, because these are 30-minute segments. So again, thank you for being with us. Jenny, my last question for you is, so as we look at COVID-19, how does National Night Out look with the current state of the police and the community relationship? We know we've had some opportunities and challenges. I never want to say a challenge without saying it's an opportunity, because there's always an opportunity to make things better or to change things, whatever we need to do. But in lieu of all that, what does that look like right now?
I'm really glad you asked, because I think to your point, we have a big opportunity in front of us. Police community relationships everywhere across America, everyone is focused on it. And I think we all know they can use some work. And I feel very fortunate to be in a position where I might be able to help or make something happen, or really work with community to make that happen. So to me, National Night Out is where we start. It's the basic introduction of, this is actually who is in your neighborhood. This is the police officers you might see, get to know them as a person, and also get the officers to know the community as people, not in an emergency situation, just in a happiness. Here's some ice cream. Tell me about yourself. Oh, you've got kids. I've got kids. You've got a dog. I've got a cat. Just the people coming together. And, you talk about opportunity, and maybe that's kind of where we need to take it now. I think that we really can look at asking great questions. And it's a great time for community to ask police officers good questions that they've seen on national news. These are okay questions. Ask and get good answers. I'm still learning and getting good answers in all the community meetings I go to when I work in law enforcement, but I'm not an officer. So I'm learning constantly from them why policies exist. What does this mean? What does this word mean? Why does it seem that way? Because these are great questions. And I think this is a great time to make that happen. And so when you talked about opportunity, you had really inspired me with all of the Zooms and kind of your perspective on how we can really take this in another direction. And we're really trying to set up a way that if we can't do it safely together, can we set up a way for neighborhoods to come together over Zoom to meet their community police officers? Zoom and any kind of online sharing has provided an opportunity for folks who are homebound, parents that are working that just really can't leave. They're trying to, get 3 kids running around the house. There's Cheerios everywhere. It's a mess, but you can Zoom for 5 minutes and meet your officer and ask the 3 questions that you have. So again, it's about opportunity. And I think I'm kind of excited about that part. I'm kind of excited about, maybe we'll actually have, next year we can have both platforms. Maybe it'll be bigger. What else can we do? How can we make it better? So I look forward to the comments that people drop too, because great ideas come from everywhere. So I'm always looking for the next great idea.
I love it. I love it what you said about the possibility of being able to have communities to Zoom with their resource officer. Um, I really want to encourage neighborhoods to take advantage of these platforms, of virtual. I know it is a struggle. I will tell everybody I'm a hugger. I love face to face interactions. I'm kind of starving for a hug, not so much from my family, but from other people. But we got to do what we're supposed to do. I miss having little kids that come running through. Somebody say, "Hey, slow down, slow down." I miss that. I miss giving out candy, and I miss hearing the good stuff that's going on in communities. I really miss that. So I'm excited that we'll still figure out ways to be able to connect communities with our officers, with each other. I think I really want to put this out there as well. If you are a neighborhood or neighborhood leader and you are interested in how can we set up Zoom meetings, I want you to reach out to me. At the end of this segment, my information will be provided along with Jenny's information. Reach out to either one of us. Our hopes is that we continue to encourage people and we help residents to stay connected. It's important. We need each other. We need each other. And I know many of you all are not meeting because you can't quite figure it out. And maybe you're saying conference call doesn't quite work out. And I know that sometimes that it doesn't. For other people, it does. But for some people, you'll find Zoom is not a monster. I was challenged when Zoom first was presented to me because I'm not that technology person. I'm not. I was worrying people at work, worrying my family, my son, like, hey, help me get this. But I've got it enough now that I can help you. So if you're needing help, but I want to offer my help. I can call you on the phone. Jenny is more than willing to help you as well. But we want people to stay connected. Stay connected with your neighbors. I want to challenge you as we move forward. I need you to speak to that neighbor on your left and on the right. Wave at them. Just wave. How you doing? It doesn't have to be a long conversation because, believe it or not, that may be the best neighbor you've ever had. You just don't know. Hey, Jenny, will you talk just a couple of minutes about walking in your neighborhood? I know you've had some great thoughts and just about what you can extract if you just take the time to take a walk in your neighborhood.
Sadie and I had a great conversation, and we're hoping to launch a program, a dog walker program, but really it's getting people to walk in their neighborhoods. I'm a walker. I walk my 2 small dogs for personal therapy, really, but also to get to know my neighbors. I just need 5 minutes to myself. And I will tell you, I love it. It really breaks down stereotypes around who lives in your neighborhood. Sometimes that happens. You really get to know your neighbors well. You get to know the other walkers. You get to know which cars are in which driveways. You get to know the folks that are out mowing yards. It's really outstanding. And again, it's great for health. And I do it because usually I need my 5 minutes for the day. But really, it's a great way to get to know your neighbors. Otherwise, I'm so busy. Sadie, like you said, I'm just busy. I get up, I go to work. I've got 2 kids. When it's not COVID, I'm shuttling people everywhere, trying to make dinner work, trying to make homework work. Now we're all inside trying to make everything work. So it's even more important now to get to know your neighbors because this is kind of your village right now. I can also say on my particular street, we have a lot of kids. And so there might be some hollering that takes place off of front porches at night when the lights, when the sun goes down before COVID. So I know where my kids are, I know who my neighbors are, and I know where they are. So again, walking, knowing your neighbors, there's nothing better than building a stronger neighborhood that way. It's the way to go. And it's proven that neighborhoods that have good, strong community watches and good, strong neighborhood associations have less crime. That's a great, safe feeling.
Yes, so thank you. So we have a comment from Sheena Beasley. Hey, Sheena, who's suggesting that you can use Google Meet as a great option for neighborhood groups to gather virtually also, so that you don't have to use Zoom. You can use Google Meet, and I know a little bit about Google Meet, but we'll work with you through whatever avenue you want to take with this thing. We just want people meeting. Thank you so much, Shayna, for joining us, and all of you who are on tonight. This is our first one, and I am seeing that we have quite a few people on tonight. Listen, I see lots of names that are being dropped. I'm not able to look on Facebook and see your name right now, but Kevin Lundy, who's behind the scenes with a couple of my other coworkers, are pushing us out some names, and it looks like we have great attendance. I hope that we have encouraged you on tonight. Listen, we have to keep going. Greensboro is one of the greatest cities ever to live in, and it is because of the residents who make it great. It is because of the people who work here. It's because of our city officials. And listen, let me be clear. We may not always agree on everything, but we can agree that we're great. We can agree to that. We don't always agree. No, we don't. I don't care what relationship that you're in. I hope you hear me real good. I don't care what relationship you're in. There will come a time when you will disagree. But just because you disagree, don't mean it's over. It doesn't make you bad. It means you see it one way, I see it another way, but it is because of the residents, because of the people who live and work here that makes Greensboro a great place to live. So I want to encourage you, get out in those neighborhoods, see what there is to see. Listen, how many of you all know that you have a park? Have you been through the park? Yes, you can't swing on the swings. Sadie is, I can't tell you my age. But believe it or not, I still like to swing on the swings.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't swing on the swings right now, but I'm a big kid at heart too. I love it. Greensboro has so much to offer. Even in our neighborhood, there's cool things to see. There are people who have gardens on the side of the road where you can go and pick tomatoes and stuff. I seen it the other day in a neighborhood, which I thought was so cool. So listen, get out, enjoy your neighborhood, wave at your neighbors, walk your dog, or take your kids on a scavenger hunt, whatever it is. But I want to encourage you, Jenny wants to encourage you to, get out in the neighborhood. As we close this segment, Jenny, would you like to have any closing remarks?
I do, ma'am. I really do. A couple of things. Just remember when we're planning our national night out that we will plan according to the phase of where we are with the governor. Again, anybody who is registered, we've got your information. We'll contact you soon about ways to celebrate safely, ideas around ribbons on mailboxes, kind of whatever we can do to make a community feel more like a community. And another reminder that the stronger your neighborhood is, the more safe it is. So building that stronger community, Sadie is the perfect person. I've never met anybody with more energy and excitement to bring people together. And she and I feel the same. We're huggers, and it's killing me to have to Zoom everything, but I'm still going to see it as an opportunity because I do know that there are times where I want to connect and I'm too busy, and this is a great tool and I'm seeing good things. And lastly, we really hope that National Night Out is a springboard to more community watches. I have to put back on my Greensboro Police Department engagement hat and say the more community watches we can have and the more community resource officers we have engaging with our residents, the better we are and the safer we are. So look for our dog walker program coming soon. If you want to register, I'm sure that the link is out everywhere. And I just want to thank everybody for listening and everybody for being willing to try National Night Out if you've never done it, willing to have a good conversation with an officer. And a firefighter and Guilford Metro and all your public safety. And a big thank you to Community Foundation and Sadie for highlighting this program. It's a great program to really build or rebuild or start to build a relationship. So thank you, Sadie. I appreciate it greatly.
So thank you, Jenny, so much. I thank each of you all for joining us tonight. Remember the recap of what Jenny said. We will celebrate National Night Out, hopefully, but we have to do it according to the phases we're in, according to the governor. Don't forget, have a community watch. It makes your community, your neighborhood stronger. It reduces crime. And listen, I want to lastly say, Building Stronger Neighborhoods is supporting National Night Out, but we are following the lead of our city as to what they'll do, and we are excited about what's going to happen. Drop pictures of your neighborhood on our page. We want to see what cool things you're doing in your neighborhoods. And until the next time, we'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll be back on again at 6:30 with our next segment. Please feel free to give us any feedback, and we look so forward to seeing you soon. The next screen you'll see will be our contact information. But until the next time, continue to build a stronger neighborhood. Thank you, Jenny Caviness.
Thank you, Sadie.